Sup y'all, my name is Evan Strong and I am here. I'm going to be up at the top part of this frame with my head for the video, but I am the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. This is a video under our main side, one of the 4 sides to In The Image Clothing Company, where our slogan is allowing the body to work. Okay, there truly is only one way the human body could ever possibly work. It's just determined by the shape and length of our own individual bones, connecting directly to each other through ligaments. Thin layer of cushioning called cartilage between the bones is there so they don't wear each other out. But the bones are very specifically shaped and lengthed on the ends of them, okay? The human body is just this mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space that is our Earth. We've been given by God measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations, okay? Everything in the body has a neutral position. Why are we a clothing company? What does it mean to be in the image clothing company? Our bodies are designed in the image of God. In the image of Jesus Christ, we're a clothing company for the literal word of clothing, okay? Anything that clothes the human being at all, shoes, socks, pants, tops, undergarments, hats, glasses, jewelry even, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The literal word, the way that God clothes the fields with grass, if we place anything onto our bodies, it's just clothing them, literally. So, the body, just having all the bones connecting the way that they do, just determined by how they grow by themselves. God just does that for us, by the way. Yeah. Muscles pull. Okay, we've got opposing muscles that pull. Okay. But then, yeah, they're opposing the center or the neutral. There's always a neutral position to everything in the entire human being. Okay. Anyway, this video's title is Tying Shoes Evenly. Okay. In the Image Clothing Company's main side, the 2nd of July, 2026. We've got shoes, just coverings for our feet. In the Image Clothing Company really started with things like shoelaces and drawstrings, understanding that we get into chronic patterning through clothing. Whatever's physically placed on us all the time, it can potentially be very imbalanced and not working the only way the human being's bones connect. When gravity has the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies, we need clothing to do at very baseline these 3 things. Stay centered. Okay, this vertical pull to gravity. It's just vertical that comes down and meshes with the horizontal surface to the planet Earth. Alright. Fit correct. Things like joints of material of clothing, meshing with joints of body parts. And be made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. So we've got the same amount of things here that were always here on this planet Earth. Our bodies included. They're just what we have eaten, which is Earth. Plants or animals from the planet. Alright? Anyway, there's only one way the human body could ever work, but we've got things like oversized clothing. We don't have joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts. Chronic patterning, scar tissue, bone spurs, problems in the body get built up when things are just not allowed to track in line the only way they work. Okay. Zippers, buttons, pockets, rotated seams, collar seams, shoelaces, drawstrings, just ropes now that we're introducing to the body. This is what I'm saying. Tying shoes evenly. This video's title, under In The Image Clothing Company's main side, on the 2nd of July, 2026. Now, we talk about shoes a lot. We talk about shoelaces a lot. The bottom of the feet is just the same as the horizontal planet Earth. The term zero drop in any brand of shoe, that's the neutral for the foot from lifting up, dorsiflexion, or pointing down, plantar flexion. Even for the airplane pilot, it applies as well, right? Every body who has one, or everyone who has a body, this universal human design, I feel like this is more of like a dance choreographed video than an In The Image Clothing Company video. We give a lot of information, and a lot of times we do it through the surrounding sounds like this: blunt, bold, raw, and real, in the Image Clothing Company style. Here's the airplane noise. Okay, let me wait. I can wait. I can be that teacher. Elementary school. I can wait, right? So here's the thing. In the Image Clothing Company shoelace technique, it's the only way the top of the feet are shaped. Okay, there's no opinion to it. We just have bones, ligaments, tendons, and muscles gripping arches in these feet to support our bodies. We have 2 feet, evenly opposing the center line of our bodies, and the center line of our bodies mesh with Earth's vertical gravity pull, okay? The airplane pilot, the flight school. This is just miles from here, in Utah County, Utah, the United States of America. The surrounding sounds are unreal in this town. It kills me. And then I come back to life afterward. The top of the feet are half of their function. So we can talk about the bottom of the feet, flat, right? The term zero drop in any brand of shoe, but we can talk about the top of the feet, which is just as important because you're pointing the foot down, plantar flexion, that's the bottom of the foot, but then we lift the foot up, dorsiflexion, that's the top of the foot, and it's this alternation of opposition that makes us a human being, all right? But that allows us to walk too. So yeah, here we go. Okay, the top of the feet, there's no possible opinion to it. You have to be very intentional about your shoe laces. These are just ropes. We call them laces for our shoes, but we're just lacing our shoes with ropes. Okay, literally. We talk about literal wording here under In the Image Clothing Company. So this is In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, found wherever you find it, but look, you found it here. Congratulations, truly, because it'll change your entire life. We do things permanently here under In the Image Clothing Company, and this is not for fashion. You know, we don't focus on fashion under In the Image Clothing Company. We don't do things that are conditional to a time period. Generally, I mean, our main focus is everything that we do needs to be as permanent as it can be for it to be credible, permanent, universal. Within this universal human design, every body who has one, or everyone who has a body, it's all the exact same, unless you're extremely uniquely different, which that happens, but we address that if and where needed. Very small percentile of human beings. But the feet evenly opposing the center line of our bodies, gripping these arches inward, supporting us vertically with our sternum, our spine, our trachea, our nose, and our jaw, all in the center line of the body. Okay, wow, these baseball players are probably wondering what I am doing. All of this meshes with Earth's vertical gravity pull. So these feet evenly oppose this centered part of the body at the literal physical bone, but also the vertical pull to gravity that meshes with the center line of our bodies. Okay. Feet. Laces. Ropes. You're determining how your feet can work by how you're tying ropes around them. Okay. It's as obvious as it is once you see it. A phrase we say often under In the Image Clothing Company here. Myself being the founder and leader for life. Yeah, me, Evan Strong. Here you go. Watch this. So this is In the Image Clothing Company shoelace technique. All right. You've just got functioning happening in the foot. You've got dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, internal rotation, external rotation, pronation, supination, gripped arches, 5 different length toes we evenly roll off the end of within this universal human design. You've got wind noise and the surrounding sounds. I understand. It's a permanent date-marked documentation. What's today? The 2nd of July, 2026, In the Image Clothing Company's main side, tying shoes evenly. Okay, so we've got In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. You know it if you know it. You can find it many places. You found it here. We tie shoes the same on both sides, meaning opposite. Okay, a video under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here currently is titled Right-Handed Knots versus Left-Handed Knots. And essentially we need right-handed knots, which is actually like this, on our left side, and left-handed knots on our right side, okay? Right-handed knots on the left side and left-handed knots on the right side. And I'll show it, I'll tie these shoes at least a time or two in this video. We'll discuss this thoroughly with the importance of the even tying of shoes, because there's even two sides to the body that evenly grip arches inward, that evenly support one and the other side opposing the center line, left and right. Right and left, left-handed knots on our right side and right-handed knots on our left side are evenly opposite, okay? Because there's two sides to our bodies. So, yeah, let me tie my shoes here. But first, before I do anything to change this, you can notice how even my shoes are tied, you know, and it wasn't like some kind of challenge to get it as even as I possibly could visually for the video. I just tied my shoes this morning, but I'm intentional as the founder and leader for life of In The Image Clothing Company, me, Evan Strong. That's the whole focus, is just being intentional. We'll never be perfect at anything in life, but we have to be very intentional about how we tie ropes around our feet. You tie a knot that'll just twist your ankle, and it's just going to change your whole body, right? You've got laces on top of your feet, which are just ropes that are going to change the pronation or the supination, the collapsing or the rising of the foot arch. Your body will be damaged. To the tip of your head, the tips of your fingers, and, well, throughout there, your jaw, stabilizing the entire body that you have, okay? Musculature of the jaw goes through the collar of our tops, but yeah, it goes up to the crown of our head from the lower jawbone. The musculature comes down to some of these upper ribs, and it comes out to the edges of our shoulders. And this jaw musculature is connected to our feet. It really is. Okay, everything in the body is connected. It's a kinetic chain. You know, one bone connects to another bone, that connects to another bone, and then that connects to another bone, and then another one. And then we keep going, it connects to another bone, and eventually it gets to all of them in the whole human being, okay? So, the human body only works activated as a whole, and this starts at the feet. What I'm saying is the whole body works, because the whole body's there. If the whole body's not working all together, parts of the body are trying to just drag around, you know, other parts of the body when they're not working. And this could be anything, anywhere in the body. Just things not working properly, okay? But why? Well, what's physically placed on our physical bodies? The literal word of clothing. So here we are, okay? In the Image Clothing Company's main side, the 2nd of July, 2026. This video's title, Tying Shoes Evenly. And you notice there's just even, you know, relatively, like I'm saying, I didn't do all that I possibly could to make this as measurably, mathematically even as I possibly could when I tied my shoes today. But, you know, we just want an even tightness on either side, left and right, or right and left of the body, because we've got even sides, left to right, or right and left from the center line, and Earth's vertical gravity pole is in the center, okay? Now, you just want to have even knots. You notice how nicely the knot's tied, right? It's nice and even on both sides of the body, okay? Evenly opposite, because there's two sides to the body. Now, let me untie this right shoe here. And let's say I tie this right shoe just a lot, by the way, right? Essentially left-handed knots on our right side over toward the center line of the body, okay, on both sides. But if I were to tie my right shoe here, oh shoot, the sprinkler's gonna turn on? I just heard sound from the sprinkler. And if I were to tie my right shoe quite a lot looser than my left shoe here, it's tied properly, it's a nice knot, it's right in the center, but the tightness isn't the same as on my left foot. Now there's just all this motion in the right side of my body and traveling up to my hand, as you can tell, okay, up to the tip of my head and the tips of my fingers throughout my whole right side. My foot just can't stay stable, so my whole right side just can't stay stable. This left side, it's just locked in place, nice and snug at the laces, And this right side, tied too loose, my foot just can't grip, and the feet grip arches inward with these different length 5 toes we have in this universal human design that we roll evenly off the end of to share the weight. But see, I'm off to the side. I centered into the frame here because as I try to grip my foot with this too loose of shoe lacing, my foot can't grip, and so it slips and falls outward. We've got different length 5 toes. And what happens is, let me tie this properly, meaning snug it up so that anyway, let me keep it untied for now to show what I'm really saying. It's just that felt really uncomfortable like that. Our different length 5 toes, they grip just the way that they're shaped and lengthed, okay? The pinky toes on the outside are the shortest. They come up and in to the big toes, kind of like an arrow pointing forward. We roll evenly off the ends of our different length 5 toes, and there's just this neutral position through the ankle and up the outward curvature to the knees and through the upper legs. The upper leg bones even come up and then in a little bit at the top, at the femoral head, the top of the upper leg called the femur, meeting into the acetabulum of the hip. The whole leg has this slight outward curvature stemming from rolling evenly off the ends of our different length 5 toes, and then everything's just in line, okay? But as the feet grip, they grip in and back, just because picture the different length toes pulling to grip the ground, right? There's only one difference in the amount of bones in the hands and feet. The feet work like the hands. Hand arches, rounding to the palm of the hand where the fingers meet into it, and feet arches, they grip to support the entire body. Okay, very similar, the hands and the feet. So if the feet can't grip the ground, just because of the length of the toes, they fall outward. Okay, watch my hand. Grip, neutral from the pinky finger. If I grip this rounding to my hand, just like my foot. Neutral, pinky toe straight forward. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly physically, mechanically operate. Okay, In the Image Clothing Company's main side, the 2nd of July, 2026, tying shoes evenly. This video's title. So if I tie my shoe again here on the right side, but now I snug it up, even just snugging my shoe up, if it's laced properly, it's not about us really. You can't own a weave of a rope. But in the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, the only way the top of the feet are shaped, me just pulling these laces tight, watch what it does to my foot. It pulls it into a neutral position. Shoelaces are just as much about the lacing technique as they are about the tying at the end of it, okay? But we want to keep our shoes as evenly tied from left to right as we can. Oh, let me not have my foot flexed up that much because I want to have you be able to see me tie my shoe, just because we discuss shoelacing so often and talk about In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique so often. Under In the Image Clothing Company, the more documentation we can have of us showing what it is, how to do it, the better. Permanence, longevity. I'll be doing this the rest of my entire lifetime. The founder and leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company, me, Evan Strong. Here we are showing you what it means to tie your shoes evenly. I dorsiflex my foot like that because that's really the neutral. And when I'm sitting here to support my body, my foot's just up. I don't rest my foot on the ground or my whole body falls back. Okay, so I wasn't trying to hide what I was doing is what I'm saying. And on the other end, for the explanation, I'm saying I'm trying to be intentional to show what I'm doing, okay? But see, the knot just sits nice and evenly right there. Well, there's a video under In the Image Clothing Company's main site currently titled The Extensor Hallucis Longus Muscle and Shoelaces, which is a muscle from the big toe up through the top of the foot, crossing right through where the knot needs to sit on the ankle, and then it comes up and out and connects to the outside of the tibia, the outer two of the lower leg bones, right? The tibia and the fibula. I said tibula, I meant to say fibula. The outer two of the leg bones in the lower legs. So anyway, those knots just need to sit evenly. This video's title, the 2nd of July, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main side, tying shoes evenly. That means the knots need to sit evenly left to right on top of the ankle joint. Okay, always stop lacing at ankle flexion. The angle of the ankle, if you will, for the sake of the alliterations under In The Image Clothing Company. We do things like poodle parade events. Wow. Yeah. Here you go, okay? We need the lacing technique to be pulled as evenly as we can without getting so insanely particular to the point of driving yourself nuts about it. You really do. You want to have as even tension around the top of the feet as you can, because as the foot tries to grip, it rises, right? The height of a gripped arch. A video under In The Image Clothing Company's main side here currently. The feet grip the ground and they rise. Oh, there you go, right? Yeah. Okay. In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. It's just the only way the top of the feet are shaped. There's no opinion to it. Okay. But, yeah, evenness in how tight you pull the lacing, evenness in where the knot's sitting on the ankle, certainly evenness in the height of the lacing from left to right. That's a big deal. Okay, right at the flexion of the ankle. Just the only way the ankle bends. It's just a hinge and lever system. The hinge of the ankle and then the lever of the foot. Right, it's just what it is, bro. It's a mechanical machine. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly work. Ain't no opinion to whatever, brother. I mean, there couldn't possibly be an opinion to it. You can just measure it mathematically. It's just determined by the shape and length of our own individual bones. How do they connect? Muscles only pull. And is it neutral to everything? There's only one way it could ever possibly happen. So this is the stuff we discuss under In The Image Clothing Company. But, you know, knowing In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is what we title, just the only way the top of the feet are going to be meshing with weaving a rope across them. And knowing zero drop, the term in any brand of shoe, just meaning okay, flat on the bottom, just like we're barefooted. Then we've got that horizontal surface of the earth angle still there even with shoes on. Okay, the only neutral to the feet's dorsiflexion or plantar flexion that could ever possibly exist on this planet Earth that God made. He placed the human beings onto it with this body that he made for them to be able to walk. It only happens how it happens before human beings make shoes that potentially have heels under them. Now you're plantar flexed, right? Constantly pointing your toes with heels on shoes, changing your entire body to the tip of your head and the tips of your fingers from your feet at your very foundation. Okay? So, no possible opinion to it. Don't believe me, as I say, because truth is truth, regardless, spoken or unspoken. If someone knows it or not, yeah, right? Me being the founder and leader for life of In The Image Clothing Company, Evan Strong. Don't believe me, don't believe In The Image Clothing Company's team members, even any of our poodles with any of our information, just meaning regardless of what you believe it or not, don't. Things are still what they are, right? And the body truly could only ever possibly work just how the bones connect. So no workout routines or anything is going to ever change how your body works. We give extremely deep context and explanation on the anatomy of the human body here under In The Image Clothing Company. But there you go, right? Tying shoes evenly. And this one is slightly wider than this one. I can kind of feel it. You know, it just causes things to sit a little bit different. I mean, that's the point. I'm going to adjust it. If you saw me about 30 seconds, give or take 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it was before I said that, I started to reach for my shoelace to untie it and retie it. just slightly tighter. I didn't do it, but then I explained why, so now I'll do it. Just doing what you can to have them be, just nice and even, left to right. This is the support for the rest of your entire body. Before you can focus on your jaw, you focus on your feet. Before you can focus on your lower back, or any 3 parts of your back, you focus on your feet. Before you can focus on anything in your body is the point. From the tip of your head down to the tips of your toes and out to the tips of your fingers, you have to focus on your feet first. They're the base of your body, supporting the rest of it on Earth's vertical gravity pull, and they have to be even. Because there's 2. There's 1 on either side of the body. All right, so In the Image Clothing Company's main site, the 2nd of July, 2026. This video's title, right? What's it titled? What's the title? Well, tying shoes evenly, okay? And they're not perfectly even right now, and that's what I'm saying. Don't drive yourself crazy with it, but know that the more particular you do get, the easier the rest of your life will go. Not only physically, but it'll play into your mental health, your emotional state, everything. Sure, into your spirituality. Just meaning everything's just, it's your body. You've got a physical body on this physical earth. We're putting physical things on our shoes and tying them on with physical ropes. We call them shoelaces. They're just ropes, okay? So anyway, there you go. In the Image Clothing Company, music, In the Image Clothing Company, podcast, and In the Image Clothing Company poodles, okay? Yeah, we're on episode 209 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of today's date, which is the 2nd of July, 2026. So shout out to the airplane pilots. Call me an athlete. Call me Evan Strong, that's my name. Thank you. I'll be doing this the rest of my entire life. In the Image Clothing Company's main site is where you are here.